What's up, everyone? Axel here of Axetruth.com, and this is where I cut through the bullshit. Well, my Black Lives Matter. All video, sound, and music used during this broadcast falls under fair use. Fair use is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe on copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. My Black Lives Matter. My Black Lives. My Black Lives. My Black Lives Matter. It matters for you. Please, whiteys, make our Black Lives Matter. We want to scream it in the streets and walk with our fists in the air and shout and scream and pitch a fit. Our lives matter. We matter, we matter, we matter, we matter. But all we see is black people killing each other. That's all we've seen since they started Black Lives Matter season. Check that video I did a while back about it. I may have did it on the old YouTube channel they took down, so I'm gonna have to re-upload it. Anyway, I'm the most shadow banned and censored person on the internet. My website is axetruth.com, and that's where you can find all my content. All my content. Please check it out. It has some really all my shows are unscripted. They're not unscripted, unproduced, off the cuff, off the top. They're all different. None of them are the same. And it's lots of informative information that's true. And I'm Axetruth. Well, we're talking about Black Lives Matter here. Black Lives Matter, it really is whoever thought of that phrase must say, we need to play a joke on this group. Let's play a joke on the most emotional group, the one that has the most grievances, the ones that are always sitting around complaining and having grievance after grievance after grievance after grievance. Let's just play a joke. Let's start a campaign of Black Lives Matter with lots of symbolism, kneeling, fist in the air, people wearing black, going back to the time of the Black Panthers. Let's bring Beyonce out at the Super Bowl. Everybody in Afro wigs but her in a blonde wig. Or Shem. Everyone but Shem in a blonde wig. But she's power to the people and empowerment. And they fell for it. Anyway, and they just give anything to these shines, and they just put it in anything. They put anything on your plate and you eat it. I cut through bullshit. I certainly don't eat bullshit, but they hand you bullshit on a platter and you eat it. You digest it. You take it in. You live it, breathe it, and it shows. It shows. We see it. We see the hypocrisy. We see the shamelessness. We see the lack of any type of spiritual, moral value on anything. So, and you just serve them anything, and we see it everywhere in everything, their actions, how they respond. And now here's another example of Black Lives Matter. Really? Do they? No, they never mattered. This is a sad situation that happened in the Bronx. A lady was shot by a stray bullet on Father's Day weekend, and she died. She tried to survive. After 2 months in the hospital, she finally passed away. So let's get to it.
She fought to survive for more than 2 months after she was shot at a basketball game. But yesterday, a Bronx woman who was an innocent bystander succumbed to her injuries.
CBS 2's Alicia Reed spoke with her family as they mourned this tragic loss.
This was the last photo Jelani Green took on June 19th, right outside the Half Nelson playground, where she and her family went to watch her brother play in a Father's Day basketball tournament. David Love remembers the last conversation he had with his sister.
Before the game started, she asked me, like, Dave, you ready? I was like, yeah, and we smiled.
By the time the game ended, police say a single gunshot rang out. It hit the 25-year-old in the neck, severing her spinal cord and exiting through her left shoulder. She was left paralyzed from the neck down.
My sister didn't deserve that. She was 25 years old. She had a whole lot left to live.
For months, family members visited her at St. Barnabas Hospital. Her mother tells me Jelani suffered a stroke in August. Then came a number of infections, collapsed lungs, and more.
My baby had a truck Her baby had a pacemaker. Her baby had a peg.
But she kept fighting, and her family expected her to survive.
She was strong for a long time.
Police believe this all stemmed from a gang rivalry at the park. Her mother says she'll always have one regret about that night.
I'll always be sad if I would have left 5 minutes earlier, even 3 minutes earlier.
Jelani's family is now tasked with planning a funeral they're not prepared for. Meanwhile, police say this is still an ongoing investigation. So far, no arrests have been made. In the Morris Heights section of the Bronx.
Tragic. She went through, I mean, could you imagine if she even recovered somewhat after having a stroke, being put on having a pacemaker, what kind of life she would have had? A life of pain and suffering. No type of quality of life at all. Where are the marches for her? Where are the fists in the air? Where are the Al Sharptons and the, what's that other liver lip, chitlin eating, Benjamin Crump? Where are the Jay-Z's and the P. Diddy's that are always coming out, want to have something to say about injustice? They haven't caught the people that were behind that shooting that shot her. The stray bullet from the gang rivalry. They haven't caught them, and they're not going to catch them. And the community, the black community, you know, all that unity in the community, FBA, ADOS, let's come together. We got to do this. We got to do that. We going to do this. We need to do that. Papa Duck. Black people ain't going to do anything. They're not going to come together on anything. They're not even going to fix their own problems. That's what's sad. Because they're too busy trying to point the finger and blame everyone for what goes on in their communities. We got to reach back to slavery, Jim Crow. It's somebody, some political party. We need a new president. We need a black president. You got a black president. Nothing changed. It got worse. Now you got a black VP president. That's supposed to mean something. That ain't done nothing. Oh, we need some reparations. Pass out some money to you? Money? That's all Black Lives Matter was about. Money. It was a money laundering organization. And it was a money laundering organization not for black people, not for the black community, but for the people at the top, them lesbians that set it up. And then the rest of the money went to the DNC so they could pay off the stunners to pull the stunt of 2022. They had to pay those people to commit that crime. So they had to use Black Lives Matter, you know, create a whole psyop behind it and raise all this corporate cash, and all these donors gave all this money for the movement. And nothing moved but more black bodies to the graves by black people. More black people have died in history. More black people have died at the hands of black people since the Black Lives Matter protests, campaign geared up after George Floyd than ever in history. So black lives don't matter. They really don't. That's why I put that in the title. But let's look at the latest.
Major financial scandal for the Black Lives Matter movement. Some of its leaders are being accused of stealing millions of dollars in donations.
You don't say.
National correspondent William Ageness is in Los Angeles with details. Hello, William.
Well, Mike, this accusation that the BLM National Foundation has been misusing donor money is now out in the open, and it's not coming from the media, but prominent members within BLM who accuse the parent organization, the BLM Global Network Foundation, and board member Shalomaya Bowers of enriching himself on donations. So according to the lawsuit, this is a case of a rogue administrator, a middleman turned usurper who was hired to collect donations and account for expenditures of the BLM movement. However, after siphoning more than $10 million in fees from donors, Mr. Bowers decided he could not let go of his personal piggy bank. So it's about a year ago that Bowers and 2 others took control of BLM after the group failed to file financial reports and tried to conceal some expenses. Well, the lawsuit claims the new executive team, quote, began changing passwords of shared social media accounts, hired expensive high-powered lawyers and media consultants to bully and harass the organizers, fraudulently raised money from unsuspecting donors, and that Bowers made some $2 million in less than 8 months. So previously, BLM had called such accusations, quote, right-wing misinformation. Well, this lawsuit, however, comes from Black grassroots members. After the death of George Floyd, BLM raised about $90 million from corporations and mostly online donors. Well, the founder claimed that to be white guilt money. BLM's response to this lawsuit on Thursday? Well, we face yet again another round of struggle for control of one organization, this time by people who say they love black people and center abolitionist values, but whose actions are furthest from our principles. So, Mike, several state AGs are investigating BLM, and with this lawsuit, the public may someday find out where all that money was spent. Back to you.
We'll follow it, William.
You look at that response from Black Lives Matter. When they see now they can't blame Whitey or the right-wing conspiracy. Now it's blacks suing blacks because you're ripping off blacks, enriching yourself. See, the thing is, the whole thing is a sham. The man at the top, he siphoned money for himself because the money that's coming in is not allocated to do anything. They don't have it set to do anything. They don't have any programs or anything set up. You know, all these programs the Democrats like to talk about. Oh, we just need more programs. We need more youth centers. We need more of this. That's going to help these badass kids that don't know how to read or write. There's no, the Black Lives Matter is a scam. You know, did you really think Black Lives Matter? Black lives didn't matter, but black money did. They got duped. You got duped. You know, and then they're going to say the money that came in prior to, you know, this new executives that came on, that was white guilt money. I've never seen any money that had white guilt on it. It's all green. And it's so green for the love of money that Patrice Cullors and them went out and got them some mansions and they living good, eating good and cheering, and, you know, her and her lesbian friends up there smiling and, you know, we doing it good. We did it. We did it. We ripped off we fooled the black community. We got them out here still wearing Black Lives Matter face masks and thinking they lives matter when they never did at all. They don't even care about their own lives. They just want everybody else to care about it. You know, Pastor Williams, God bless him, for what he said at Aretha Franklin's funeral. It's iconic what he said about do Black Lives Matter. He said no, they don't. And they'll never matter until black people stop mowing each other down in the streets. And that's not going to stop. See, I'm a realist. I'm not going to sit up here and play these little mind games and tell you, oh, act where there has to be some solutions. Where it is, the solution is they have to straighten up. They have to fix themselves. They have to fall out of what they understand. They have been indoctrinated to a self-destruct culture. And in order to face that, that's facing truth. That means you have to bring in something of a spiritual light of truth. The truth is the light. You have to grab that. And if you're not grabbing that and you grabbing Satan, you holding on to the world and everything that Satan has to offer, because that's better for you. It's easier to do that than to take accountability and responsibility and change. See, that's the change they need to do. They always talk about, we want change. We voting for change. I'm going to vote for change. But we're not going to change a damn thing. Put your comments below. Tell me what you think about it. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Share my videos. Subscribe to my channel. Join my mailing list. Join me tonight at 9 p.m. for Power of the Living Word. We will be discussing Matthew 7 and 1 Timothy chapter 2. Good night. Have a good day, everyone.